Steward or head of school of your great alma mater, Moses Brown School. It's delightful to see you all back. Woo, that's right. Following our Twitter tradition, please join me in a short moment of silence. That was a groovy moment of silence. Thank you, Karen. It is my pleasure to welcome you all back. I had a chance to meet many of you during today's festivities, but it's great to see such a turnout tonight. I wish we could have produced a little better weather for you so that we could be outside. However, it's nice to have a chance to show you all what Alumni Hall has become, our Y Lab, or this 21st century engineering and design and robotics studio. There are several hundred of you gathered, and we're so honored that you would come from places near and far, as near as just down the street in Wayland Square, or as far away as Texas and California and Tennessee and Georgia. We're really honored to have you here. Where's the class of 2013? Woo is right, yes. Welcome back for your first reunion. It's nice to see some familiar faces. Folks whose diploma I signed, so it's nice to have you here. We have several distinguished guests from the class of 1948. Where are you guys? I know I saw Fran Sargent earlier today. They're at the dinner already, okay. So if you think about it, we have more than 70 years of the alumni experience here tonight with us at Moses Brown. So let me give you a little historical perspective of what that means. We have folks who graduated in 1948, when the year that the transistor radio and LP records were introduced, and a gallon of gas cost 16 cents. This year, celebrating their 50th reunion, is the great class of 1968, and that's a year that's often said to be the most momentous year in U.S. history. That's, of course, when Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. That was the year of the first manned orbiting of the moon. That was the year that the 747 jumbo jet was introduced. A gallon of gas cost 34 cents, and perhaps not coincidentally, that was the year that the Big Mac was introduced, and the first ever heart transplant surgery. I think those two things go together, perhaps. 1993, the class that's celebrating their 25th reunion this year, that was the year that Beanie Babies were introduced, if you remember those. Technology-wise, that was when the Intel Pentium processor was introduced. A gallon of gas cost $1.16, and the most popular movie that year was Jurassic Park. And lastly, the 2013s, who graduated just 5 years ago, that was the year that the Boston Marathon bombing happened. Believe it or not, it's been 5 years. That was the year that Microsoft introduced the Xbox One. Interestingly, a gallon of gas cost $3.80 then. So I mention all that just as a sort of a panorama of how American history continues to unfold here at Moses Brown, a school that is 234 years old. And you are part of that story, and we're really glad to have you back. Now, right now, before we go to dinner, we want to do a couple of quick ceremonial things. First, I'd like to ask George Panichis from the great class of '83 to join me up here on the steps. George, I want to embarrass him here for just a second, but George is celebrating his own 35th reunion this year. His daughter, Melina, is about to graduate in a couple of weeks. And George is also wrapping up his final year as the clerk of the Moses Brown Alumni Association. And I just want to, George, publicly thank you for your incredible leadership and commitment and dedication to the school. Now, annually at this event, the Alumni Association presents 3 recognition awards. And I would like to acknowledge 2 gentlemen who will be more formally recognized at their dinners later tonight, and then George is going to present the 3rd. I have the honor of acknowledging the 2018 Distinguished Alumnus Award, which will be presented to Richard Sauber from the class of 1968. A Rhodes Scholar, former federal prosecutor, and a professor at Georgetown Law School, Dick has had a distinguished legal career. He appears regularly for clients in congressional hearings and has argued before the U.S. Supreme Court. Later on, we'll also be presenting the 25th Reunion Achievement Award, which will be presented to Ethan Ruby from the class of '93. Ethan has launched multiple companies, received a U.S. patent, raised millions of dollars for charity, and delivered MB's 2008 commencement address. For his commitment to service, Mount Sinai Hospital honored Ethan with his Humanitarian of the Year award. Please join me for now in congratulating both Dick and Ethan on these awards. And I'd like to now turn things over to George for the awarding of the Faculty and Staff Member of the Year award. George.
Thank you, Matt, very much. 35 years later, I'm in classes, so what are you going to do? Joe Ribeiro, I love this guy. As a matter of fact, I think we should... Each year, the Moses Brown Alumni Association honors a member of the faculty or staff for his or her impact on the school community. Chosen from a lot of fine teachers and staff members, the recipient is recognized as an outstanding professional, educator, mentor, and friend. An Alumni Association is pleased this year to honor Joe Ribeiro. Joe, will you come up here? And Matt, if you may want to step up a little bit as well. We're going to embarrass you a little bit, is that okay? As many of you know, Joe is a beloved member of the MBA Athletics Department, serving as Athletic and PE Equipment Manager, but that title does not begin to tell you the story of Joe's impact. Joe is simply one of those people that makes MB special. Joe is relentlessly positive, fiercely supportive of MB students and our athletic teams. His kind, helpful, warm personality is appreciated by everyone. He always has a warm smile and a quick hello, although Joe has been known to share his thoughts with a referee on occasion. He's not bashful. He feels as if the MB students are not being treated fairly. He will let the refs know about it. Are you going to stop doing that anytime soon? Oh, good. In 2005, the graduating class dedicated the yearbook to Joe, saying that he is, quote, a member of the Moses Brown community who has selflessly committed himself to those around him. His care for every student and his dedication to our school have been felt deeply. Joe, the MB Alumni Association is so pleased, and I am honored to recognize all the ways that you care for MB students and for your consistent willingness to go above and beyond in the support of our school. Congratulations on being the 2018 MBAA Faculty Staff Member of the Year. Now, if I could just, I'm going to go off script just a little bit. So would you be
George, be careful, I didn't bring my cane.
Would you keep that close to the vest for a second? I'm going very off script, actually. That's what happens 35 years later, it's over. So I have a very special announcement to make. I want you all to know that this is happening, and this is a surprise, and this person has no idea what's about to happen. But it's an honor that we've been talking about in the MBAA for a long time, and I know that after this is done, I'm going to be in really big trouble.
I think you're already in trouble.
On May 9th, a motion was made within the Alumni Association Executive Committee to bestow a very special honor on an alumnus who has served the Alumni Association in unprecedented ways for decades. This motion was received with immediate and overwhelming enthusiasm, and when the motion was opened to the larger MBAA board via email and discussion, there was an equally overwhelmingly positive response. We heard comments like, well-deserved, no one is more deserving, 10,000% behind the idea, and even, and I'm not making this up, even, I think we should have a parade also. That might be a bit much, but okay, that was great. But I must say, after reviewing after reviewing the accomplishments of this person, I'm not even quite sure that I'm qualified to read them, but I'm going to give it my best shot. This person was among the first female graduates of MB in 1979. She was captain of the girls' soccer, captain of girls' basketball, played lacrosse, and was captain of the boys' tennis team. I wonder who we could be talking about. At MB, she has coached girls' varsity soccer, boys' tennis for something like 30 years or so, and was director of co-ed squash. She went on to be a three-sport athlete at Brown University, where she played soccer, ice hockey, and sailing. Because of this, she is a member of the NBA's Sports Hall of Fame. And Matt, you know most of this stuff, I'm sure. You may learn a thing or two, who knows? You might. She also taught French, German, history, and Latin in the upper school and the middle schools. She was dean of students for 13 years. I wonder who we're talking about. And she has been assistant director and now director of alumni relations for 9 years. She graduated from Brown University in 1984 and received a master's in education from Harvard in 1992. Makes her a lot smarter than me. She served on the MBAA board longer than anyone can remember and has been a leader of her class for nearly 40 years. Most importantly, and I mean this sincerely, she has cared for, counseled, supported, mentored a generation of MB students and alumni. She has literally dedicated her life to the people of Moses Brown. I know no one who has meant more to Moses Brown's community, its students, families, alumni, faculty, or staff than KMorse. I'm not going to interrupt that applause, Karen. No way. Karen has made more meaningful connections for people at MB than anyone could imagine, and she's done it with humility, grace, and a disdain for the spotlight. Sorry, Karen. Karen, this time it's about you. For all those reasons and many more, I'm thrilled to announce that on behalf of the MB Alumni Association and literally thousands of alumni across the country, we are renaming the Alumni to Service Alma Mater Award the KMorse Moses Brown Alumni Association Service to Alumni Award. Well deserved. Karen, would you like to say a few words?
You actually really are crazy, and you really did pull it off, and I am absolutely surprised and truly honored. I'm overwhelmed, as you can see. But it's absolutely been my pleasure to be here with so many wonderful people for so many years. And I feel like I've got a zillion friends out there. And I really appreciate it, particularly as I've been in this role, as I've called people in New York, LA, or San Francisco, or Boston, and said, hey, can we get together? We come to this event. Can we have a reunion meeting? You pick a spot, all those sorts of things. Quite honestly, nobody said no, and that's made my job absolutely wonderful. And it's been a great transition from being Dean of Students, being in the classroom, and now being here with all of you. So thank you very much.
You really do us credit, and you pull us together as a community. Could not be prouder to count you as our friends. George, thank you for your stewardship of the school as well. As we head on to dinner, just a final plea, don't make this a fleeting moment. Moses Brown is its alumni. We need you all to be connected with us to keep us on course and to keep the school strong and moving ahead. So come to events like this, pick up the phone when Karen calls you, and stay with us. Lastly, my colleague, Assistant Head of School, Ron Dalgleish, is going to give us instructions for how to break apart and head off to dinner. Ron.
All right, folks, now's the big move. We're going to head off to dinner. The first most important announcement, because this actually helps people move. You have a drink, you can take it with you. And wherever you're going, there's a bar there. Okay? So you can feel motivated to move. Now, how about, I like to call them our more experienced reunion classes. So if you're in the classes of 1948 to 1973, the 45th to the 70th reunion, could you start making your way towards the back door? And our staff will direct you to the Sinclair room for your dinner. So again,